Judgment proof. Are you, your assets, your business susceptible if you have a judgment lien placed against you? Yes, in civil lawsuits, if you lose, you may have a monetary damage awarded to the other side that you remain responsible for. I'm Eleanor Curry, your favorite business law and real estate attorney, and we're going to talk about what exactly happens in the state of Texas if you have a judgment against you throughout the course of this week. However, today we are only going to be talking about the natural protections that the state of Texas provides in their statutes if you have a judgment against you. What can they collect? What can they not collect? And it's a question that frequently comes up for my clients who are either on the litigation side saying, well, what could happen to me if I lose this case, or on the estate planning side, because you never know what happens and you want to make sure if you're planning an asset protection or to give an asset to your family that it is as protected as you can make it. So we'll talk about some advanced strategies throughout the week, and we will have a webinar that you can attend on Thursday that talks in more detail about some of those advanced strategies. But for now, let's focus on the basics. Exactly what does the state of Texas protect you from in case there is a judgment against you? Now, let me give a little warning for all of those who are in litigation and you received a summons or you received a notice and you just say, hey, I don't have the assets to pay that, and I'm not going to participate, or I'm going to ignore it and hope that it goes away. Chances are, if you do not participate, that case will result in a default judgment against you. And if that happens years down the line, it is very difficult to reverse. However, if you participate, if you really advocate for yourself, even if you don't retain an attorney and you try to get the amounts lowered or you question anything that you think is inappropriate, that's a great time to have a judgment against you that you at least understand, you know where it comes from, you know who to pay in case there's one point where you do have the funds to pay it, and you know how to get it removed from either your credit report or if it attaches to real property, how to get that removed, because it's very difficult to be at the closing table and you see something that you didn't anticipate. So make sure you dial into that if that is your scenario, and do the best you can to protect it, even if that is, hey, let me get into a payment plan because I do not have the funds to satisfy this at this time. So sooner than later is the time to participate and try to make sure things are at least to your understanding and you've advocated for yourself the best way you can. But if the judgment lien is there, let's deal with it. It is then recorded after the final ruling from the court. It is recorded with the county clerk, and it can be recorded in all county clerks. So right now I'm in Harris County, it could be recorded there, but they could go to Fort Bend, they could go to Brazoria, and it will attach to real property in all of those counties based off of the recording. Now, there is a 10-year limitation on any judgment lien filed, but that judgment lien can be renewed. So just don't even think about it in what you have right now. Just remember that that can be on your property, on your person for a period of 10 years, and you may not have it now, but you may have that and so much more years later. So be very mindful of that. But when it comes to the natural protections that the state provides for you, first, most people's concern is real property. Now, I've only listed homestead here because that is the only protection. If you have additional property, such as rental homes, such as lots that you plan to do something with later, that is not included. So you need real property that you live in and meet the guidelines for a homestead and have filed properly for your homestead exemption. So you need the combination of all three. If you say I lived in that home, but I never filed my homestead exemption, boom, it is not applicable. So if you've properly filed your homestead, that is exempt from collection from a judgment lien. Next, you have your retirement plans. Bingo, they are protected and they have pretty strong protections. I separated out IRAs because when you do things like a rollover, when you have things that are in transit, that can open it up to being collectible. So just be very mindful when you have an IRA and you're transferring things over if you have a judgment lien on file. Next, you have life insurance. Now, that including cash values that accumulate and things that are distributed on a monthly basis are typically protected from the state of Texas from a judgment lien collection. You also have wages. Unlike child support, liens and garnishments that are placed on real wages, typically this is not the case for judgment liens and any civil judgment liens that are placed against you. So wages are also protected. For personal property, there are natural protections provided by the state of Texas. However, there are caps. Those caps are $50,000 for an individual and $100,000 for a family. So that includes any assets that you own, your furniture, maybe jewelry, things that are in your home. Those are considered real personal property, and those have that $50,000 or $100,000 limit. Then you have cars. Typically, the protection for cars is one car per registered driver in the household. So if you need the car for work, they're not allowing someone to take the car for work, but it's for other purposes, or you have multiple cars, or one is your Tesla you drive every day and one is, your family car that you drive on the weekends. One of those cars could be collected through a judgment lien collection. And last but not least, we have tools. No, that's not your hammer and your screwdriver in your home. Those are tools for the trade. So they are any equipment that you use in the pursuit of your career. And that can be equipment that you have if you're a builder, or anything that needs specialized equipment. Typically, it is exempt from collection. So you have a broad list, much more than many other states if you are in Texas, from judgment lien creditors, but you have to know how to use it, and you have to realize that it is for a moment in time. If you accumulate additional assets after the judgment lien has been placed, that still may be collectible. If you have more questions, make sure you write judgment lien below, and we will make sure to send you some additional information, as well as an invitation to this Thursday's judgment lien protection seminar brought to you by the Curry Law Firm.